Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hello? Am I on? I've just been told I can't be heard. I never heard an intro. Are we on? What the fuck? I am on. Well, something is wrong. So I never heard the start of the show. Boy, I'm glad I didn't know I was on. I've been sitting here walking at the guys next door who just wait until the show starts to start talking. I don't feel like I'm on. Okay, I'm on. Fuck! This is a way to start the show. I'm concerned about this, I'm saying to my producer. We do have a guest scheduled at 10:30, and I'm wondering if I'll be able to hear her. Oh, listen, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hi, how you doing? How you doing? This is me thinking I'm doing a show. And apparently am. But it feels very odd, and I'm not hearing my own voice. So, weird. Weird. And I didn't wake up in a very good mood, so this is not a good thing. You can tell, huh? Okay, so I'll tell you something funny. I don't even remember having made these electronic notes to myself, but I was somehow screwing around with my phone the other day, and the mail part of it, and I saw this thing that said notes, and I clicked on it, and one of the notes, I did have this vague memory of this, but that at the time that it happened, I thought it was so funny. I just pulled it up on my computer, and this huge orange thing came up, and it said, "Be careful with this message. Lynn Cullen has never sent you a message using this email address. Avoid replying to this email unless you reach out." I sent it to myself, okay? I appreciate the effort to protect me here, but anyway, sorry. So this is something I wrote to myself almost 10 years ago. And I do recall it kind of. This is when we were doing the show from downtown at 650 Smithfield, and I would take the bus down because it dropped me off literally, practically at the front door. Well, literally and practically don't work there. Take your pick. Close to the front door. And I really enjoyed those bus rides because I overheard conversations, I saw things and people I wouldn't otherwise see, and there is so much that we've lost that pulls disparate people together. Public transportation is one of them, and in a city where there is good public transportation, then people of all different kinds, socioeconomic, everything, come together using it. I wouldn't say that's what we got going here. It's what you got going in New York City, although the real rich, of course, don't bother with it. Anyway, so I'm on the bus and enjoying, as usual, the sort of human parade that is available. And a guy sitting, obviously within my purview, pulls out a book. And it's a hardcover book. He opens it up. And it's quite, I see the title. I think, wow, that's some heavy duty reading for the bus. And he heavy duty reads it. And then a guy sitting across from him said to him, "What are you reading?" Which seems like an odd question. I mean, if you're a stranger and somebody's reading the book, I mean, this is obviously some guy who, enjoys talking to strangers. I mean, but also interrupting somebody while they're reading. I don't know. So I was just taken by the whole strangeness of here's a guy on the bus reading a book, a heavy duty book. And here's a guy across from him who sees him reading the book and actually tries to start a conversation. And usually if somebody's reading a book, they don't want to have a conversation, right? That's my sense. Sometimes people read books so people won't engage them. Anyway, the guy who says, "What are you reading?" obviously never heard of that. And the man did look up to the questioner. And he said, told him what he was reading, and I'll tell you now. He said, "War and Peace." And it's the next question that just blew me away. What's that about? I thought that was the funniest interaction I've ever heard. What are you reading? War and Peace. What's that about? So I came upon this note I had typed to myself on the bus immediately upon seeing this 10 years ago. And I came upon it last evening, and I just had to share it with you. Okay. Another thing I came across. Okay, thanks, guys. I'm being told about 2 seconds of your intro played, then about 50 seconds of silence, then your mellifluous voice. Am I on? I'm sorry. I happened to see somebody posted this old YouTube, an old WQED, a show I don't even recall being on, but apparently I was a regular, called On Cue, or maybe it was Off Cue. What the hell it was. And there I was with the late Fred Hansberger, Jerry Boyer. What's happened with Jerry Boyer? And Alan, who's the, I can't think of his name, who's went on to be he's got a show, I think, in Cleveland now. Anyway, and I was watching it because it was I didn't even remember having my hair short like that. I was just sort of watching and thinking, what the? To have parts of your life, I guess, crystallized like that and available to people, and you have no recollection of them at all. So I thought I'd listen. I mean, Stacey Smith and Carol Lee Espy and Chris Moore were like the interviewers, and it was like a cast of thousands. And I was watching it and interested just in the bizarreness of how old it was and what we were talking about. And I started finding it very difficult to listen to myself. I didn't like the sound of my voice. Now, my voice is, and I'm aware of it, it's an unusual, I use it as an instrument. And I'm sure for many people, it is off-putting, to say the least. And I was one of those when I was watching this YouTube thing. Alan Cox, excuse me, I just remembered his name. I thought, shut up. That's what I was saying to myself. I was saying, shut up, woman. I couldn't, it made me crazy. And I realized that has to be a reaction to my, as Milton said, my mellifluous voice by many people. And I can't blame them since I've had it myself. So I just wanted to say that. Anyway, where are we going here? I am, Kevin, worried that I'm not, if I didn't hear the intro, how am I going to hear, excuse me, just an aside, the guest who's calling in? Just saying. Okay, so what else? And then I came upon this other note that I had 2 notes. This one less old, but I have to share with you because I wanted to obviously note that I had made a bet with somebody. And I wanted to either be able to collect on it or pay. And here is this one. I dated it April 9th, 2016. Okay. So this is about 6 years ago, a little over 6 years ago. And here's what it says. I bet Kevin Copeland, and I, as far as I know, don't remember knowing somebody named Kevin Copeland. So, hi, Kevin. I bet Kevin Copeland that Trump wouldn't win. And then I put his email down, so I guess I could contact him when it was his time to pay up. And I said after the email, I put down, I get $10. So it was a bet for $10. Well, I saw that and thought, oh my God, I never paid this guy $10. So I immediately, this is 2 nights ago, I sent him an email saying, apparently, I bet you that Trump couldn't win, and so I owe you $10. You know, essentially, where do I send it? He said, never mind. He got right back to me, so it was still his. and we exchanged a few things back and forth. But can you imagine? I was so sure. I remember how clueless we all were. There's a note from 6 years ago. What did I know? I probably thought I was being nice to him by only doing $10. God. Okay, so that's what none of that is apropos, absolutely nothing. Okay. One of the things when there's a big story like this just in, the Queen is still dead. You know, the story that goes on and on and on and on. And I have to tell you, as a reporter who's covered stories like that way back in the day, you start running out of crap to say. I mean, you do. Obviously. Where's there any more? Can we unearth a new angle here? And when I started seeing things yesterday about the queen's bees, she has an apiary, I guess, that the queen's bees were informed of the queen's death. I thought, okay, that's it. That's it. If they're already doing that, the queen's bees were informed of the queen's death, then there can't be. What are they going to do for the next 5-6 days? However long this poor woman is still, in that box being carted around from pillar to post. So I see today in the New York Times the story, royal providers of sweetness are told of Elizabeth's death. And it turns out it's actually something sort of interesting in a silly kind of, charming kind of a way. It turns out that this is something, telling the bees is something that is done, not just in England, but also is known to be done in the United States. That if you keep bees, they are, according to folklore and custom, to be informed of major events in the family. Births, deaths, marriages, you have to go tell the bees. And if you don't tell the bees, and here's why this kind of thing continues. If you don't tell the bees, it was believed by some that there would be consequences. The bees would die, the bees would leave, the bees wouldn't make honey. And so people always, just to be on the safe side, you have to tell the bees. Standard practice. That's right here in the New York Times. Goes back centuries. Grave consequences possible if not done. And then I was thinking about it. I couldn't get it out of my head. I love these. These are the stories actually that when I was a reporter, I would get to do. I didn't want the, and the queen is still dead stories. I like the sidebar stuff, and that's what I reveled in, and that's what I did. And this is a beaut. And I couldn't get it out of my head. I started thinking more about it. And I think, it makes perfect sense because the queen, the bees have a queen, right? And if you're the queen's queen bee, man, that is heavy duty. So this is like a relationship that would have, I'm sorry, the bees totally understand monarchy. They would definitely want to be told, and they would be appreciative. And it's even said here that beekeepers today who do follow this tradition say that it is simply a mark of respect. Okay. When I was thinking of the queen's bees, what do you think of when you think queen's bees? The bee's knees, right? Or the queen? I first thought queen's knees. No, it's not the queen's knees. It's the bees. The bee's knees. The queen's bee's knees. Don't ask me. Hey, there's another dead Russian. Gee, he didn't fall out of a hospital window. This is news because it's unusual. Not a dead Russian executive, but this guy, he's dead. He's very dead. This guy, and this happens quite often too. Actually, they have certain things that they do over and over again when they want to get rid of people. This guy, 39 years old. Russian energy executive. He fell. They always fall off of something, fall out of a window. He fell off his boat. And I do recall other times when guys fall, they fall overboard or they fall out of windows. And I don't know what it is. It is unusual because it turns out that he is the sixth dead Russian oil exec in since January, for God's sake. We haven't even finished the year. And there is this epidemic of falling oil executives in Russia. What do you think is this stuff actually reported in the Russian media? And Russians swallow this whole? They don't say, what's with these Russian executives always toppling out of windows and off of boats? They think that's normal? Anyway, I just got to say. So I that is something I wanted to share with you. Is there a caller? Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
I was kidding. Okay. I guess there was, but I waited too long.
Hello?
So there was a final primary yesterday. God almighty. And that's it. And now the next election's the biggie. This one's New Hampshire. And I just have to tell you that on the Republican side, the loonies won for Senate and for governor, the crazies, the alternative reality people. And if you're paying attention, they're like, I got certain totes going on here. Russian oil executives falling out of places and election deniers and wackos being made the Republican nominees for Senate in the upcoming election. And guys, it ain't good. $19 of the Republicans that are running for the Senate are election deniers. 19. I don't know. Are they counting our guy here, Oz? Because he sort of goes, blah, 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 blah. He sort of, back forth, goes deaf if being asked. I don't know. But that's a majority. That's most of them. And so the Republican voters are all in. This is the it didn't happen party. What you think happened didn't happen. Facts be damned. This is the absolute sign that the entire Republican Party has lost its fucking mind. As simple as that. Wow. Oh, speaking of losing your mind, did you see this thing? Back to here, to Pennsylvania, where we've got one of the most extraordinary lunatics running for governor. That would be Doug Mastriano. Turns out he has a woman, Julia Green is her name. Have you heard of her? Well, she's on board with him, and he welcomes her support because she personally receives messages directly from God. And God regularly instructs Julie Green, and often he tells her to turn on certain music and then talks to her through the frequencies. Now, she shares her prophecies on Donald Trump's site, Truth Social. But Mastriano has raised her up because she told Mastriano in February that God said to her about him, I will not forsake you, for the great steel will be overturned. Not kidding you. Mastriano's campaign has invited this nutcase to give the opening prayer at campaign events, and she was introduced as a representative of God. I kid you not. In May, Green, at the campaign's request, made a custom prophecy video for his followers. Green admits that she's visited with him several times and that they have a special relationship. Good God. She also calls, here's some other prognostications from this woman who is associated with Mastriano, the guy who wants to be your governor, with his campaign. He says that Nancy Pelosi will be visited by the angel of death because she loves to drink the little children's blood. God has told her in no uncertain terms, says Ms. Green, that the elites, that'd be you and me, have done human sacrifices and that we even manipulate the weather. She's told Adam Schiff that he will pay with his life. She's told Liz Cheney that God, everything she says, you understand, is coming through God. God told her to tell Liz Cheney that she will be taken by the angel of death. Well, God is really pissed at a lot of these guys. Apparently, he's going to kill Mitt Romney, Mitch McConnell, Charles Schumer, Ilhan Omar. All of this from Green. And an opinion writer asks, will the good people of Pennsylvania succumb to conspiracy lunacy masquerading as the word of God? Or will they decide that this is just one more sign that the Republican Party has gone bonkers? Unbelievable. You would think it's gotten, it's again like the Republican oil execs, the Russian oil execs. You understand why I might mix up Russia and Republicans. They're falling out of windows, falling out of boats. And I guess Russians just buy that, and American Republican types totally buy that God is speaking through women, through music and frequencies. And then they believe it so much that she's actually asked to pray before a Mastriano event. Good God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I probably have my guest coming, but you know what? I think I have a chipmunk in my house. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Excuse me while I freak out. Hello, little chipmunk. Here, I'm going to open this door for you, and maybe you'll find your way back out. Out. Go. Go. Don't ask me. I live with animals, and I've had what? This year we've had a rabbit, a bird, and a chipmunk. Is my guest there? I hope. Yeah. I'm going to try to keep my cool here,
yes,
but
I am.
there's something. Oh, the calls. Okay, let me just see. We're having trouble with the calls, which is why I didn't hear the intro. If my guest can hear me, I'm going to let you in now and hope that... Abby, are you there by any chance?
Hi, yes, I am here.
Shit. Abby.
Can you hear me?
No, she can't hear me, or she's hearing me and I can't hear her. Oh, damn it. Hey.
Hello? Hi, Lynn, how are you?
The gods are not happy. Abby,
Oh, no.
I don't know what to tell you. We can try again tomorrow if it's possible for you. And I am so sorry. This has not happened in a long, long time, but our technical snafus are clearly screwing us up.
I could hang up and call back.
Okay. No. So the caller who I tried to get on, he couldn't get on. My guest can't get on, and I am not happy. Oh, and I'm being told the audience heard the caller. Well, did the audience hear poor Abby trying to say hello? Jesus. Oh, God damn it. I'm sorry. I have a chipmunk in my house. I can't do the interview I want to do. And I am unhappy. I am... God damn it. All right. All right. I appreciate it. The people are trying to tell me that, yeah, whatever. So, well, was the caller interesting? Did he have to... Was it a caller I'm sorry I missed? Damn it! Damn it. Okay, I'll stop. Ken Starr's dead. Oh. You know what? God damn it. You know who Ken Starr, worked for Ken Starr? Brett Kavanaugh. John Roberts. I wish these people would all just friggin' go away. By the way, the Starr report, that lascivious, despicable thing about, a president having this whatever, Monica Lewinsky, all that kind of crapola, that was mostly written by, did you know this? Brett Kavanaugh.
Hi, Lynn, can you hear me now?
When he was working for Ken Starr, who was then prosecuting, and which resulted in the impeachment of Bill Clinton, all over a sexual exploit. And Kavanaugh's descriptions, if you'll recall, were like so specific, so excruciating in their detail that it read like it was like a porn film. And that came from the pen of now Justice Kavanaugh. I'd forgotten that. Wow. Ken Starr. Yeah. Ken Starr. Oh, God, I can hear this little... He went out! Oh, God! Oh, God bless you, little one! Oh, good for you! Good for you! Good for you! Oh! Woo! Woo! Sorry. You know what it's like to be in my house? He got out! He came in. I got to tell you, he came in yesterday. And neither I nor my dog could find him. And I did everything. I did everything possible. This morning, I was moving furniture out and seeing if he was in there. And my dog is like, and I could tell from the dog, there's the chipmunk was still there. I went to sleep last night with him probably under my bed. Boy, what a story he's telling his buddies right now. Whoa. And then I resigned myself to the fact that next time I was cleaning, I was going to encounter a dead chipmunk, sort of like the rabbit ended up dead. Rabbit died of a heart attack. I guess chipmunks are tougher. So anyway, I can't believe the little guy got out. Where were you? Man, are you a good hider? Man, are you a quiet little... I upturned everything. Unbelievable. But then when I was doing the show, I heard a little skittering, and I knew he was alive, which was good. But, so, he got out. I got my eyes on him. I see him. He's telling a friend. You can't imagine. Okay. Woo. Well, that's a happy ending. I cannot even imagine. We should not. This show is like not indicative of, I hope, not indicative of the programs I like to bring to my audience. Seriously. Oh my God. Damn it. I'm sorry. I'm upset. I'm upset about my guest. I am really upset about my guest. Look at him. He went, he can't friggin' believe it. Must be hungry. That is a survivor. Okay, I'll stop. I lost sight of him anyway. Okay, so I actually now have time to share with you something pretty fascinating. Pretty fascinating. Somehow, if something's fascinating, putting pretty in front of it doesn't work. I'm just saying. And it is a piece written by these two guys. It's a guest essay. It wasn't in the, it's a New York Times, but it wasn't in the print that I saw edition, which I actually received today. And it's two guys saying something that is very hard to hear because they're right. And essentially, what they're saying is that when we say our democracy is under threat, they would say, I think, democracy is always under threat. Because democracy, by its nature, is an open culture of communication that allows people to say what they want, to think what they want, to act how they want, and that freedom of expression that is built into our democracy can also be the undoing of it. Oh, it is always at risk by virtue of what it is itself. Every democratic society is uniquely vulnerable, they say. Something like January 6th, why, it's always potentially right there in the wings. And it's true because technology now allows, we've come to this pretty pass so quickly because of the change in media and the fact that it's at our fingertips and like-minded people can find each other in a second and they can trade whatever they want to trade And depending on what they call the communications environment, a democracy can foster reliable, respectful norms, which is what some of us vaguely remember, or it can devolve into outrageous propaganda, widespread cynicism, and vitriolic partisanship, which sure seems like a pretty good definition of where we are right now. And when that devolvement happens, a democracy can overcome it, or it can finish off with astonishing speed. And they point to something that we didn't pay any attention to, but they say it's exactly what happened in Myanmar. Our American democracy, they make clear, has lurched in cycles from dissatisfaction to crisis to progress. And throughout, citizens have had the opportunity to speak out, to vote, and events have unfolded across the country. And they point to, with all this happening, think of the response, the astonishment at that referendum that was held just months ago in Kansas, in a very conservative state, where the voters went to the polls and said, no, we want to preserve abortion access. That was astonishing. But that was democracy correcting something that another part of the democracy had set off. They point out that most Republicans now believe things that are not true. Believe Trump won. And he says, they say, it gives Republican office holders the political cover to continue to create an alternative reality and to subvert the rule of law. So when we look, which is what they're doing, and when you watch the Republicans now, they're doing it because democracy is allowing them to, because their voters have let them know we're coming along on this clown ride. You go right ahead. The truth is, democracies are always imperfect. Democracy is never static. It is not a given. It is not guaranteed. And it is not stable by virtue of what it is. Says that a lot of people, especially liberal types, believe that certain norms like respect for the law are wired into the political system when they aren't. They're just conventions that matter only to the extent that citizens give a damn about them. If nothing else, they write, the past 6 years are a reminder that democracy is a contest. And there are no inevitable outcomes or assurances that all sides will play by the rules. The paradox at the heart of this this idea that democracy contains the ingredients for its own destruction. The paradox tells us that free expression and its sometimes troubling consequences are just part of the deal. What sometimes changes are novel forms of media which come along and clear democratic space for all manner of persuasion. For more than a century, I'm going to read them here. For more than a century, knowledge has been created and mediated by elite institutions, particularly by major national television networks and newspapers that anchored a discourse driven by norms. That was the enter social media. The deluge of social media in the last 20 years has collapsed that arrangement. And the norms are gone. Although our side still thinks they're there and plays by them. The Republicans know they're gone. And they're okay with that. And so, social media, norms gone, and it sure looks like that is an extraordinary tool to undercut democracy. In the end, the only way to confront what is going on, this attempt to literally destroy democracy. Why? For power. We've all seen this happening, and we can tell what's happening. In the end, the only way is to prosecute those who have flouted our laws and to defeat the people who support them at the ballot box. The only way. And it's the only way. They go on to say, I mean, I really think they had this right, and it's so we don't have, we have to be willing to see clearly that what is happening is a result of our free society, because nowhere was it written that people had to behave responsibly in it. You're just given freedom. And there's that famous quote, right, by Ben Franklin, what have you given? We've given you a republic if you can keep it. Well, so here we had a president for 4 years who spoke more lies than truth. But it didn't matter. And here's a line that chilled me, but it's true, and we need to face it. It didn't matter, because in a democracy, it's not about what's true so much as what's persuasive. We keep wondering how people who are making things up out of thin air can manage to attract millions of our neighbors and family members to their side. But that's because we're still constrained by thinking that facts overcome this craziness. They don't. And that's part of why we're so stymied and so flummoxed. Because you can throw facts at these people till you're blue in the face. It does not matter. They have been persuaded because they want to be persuaded. In a democracy, it is not what's true so much as what's persuasive. Now, that means that in the end, the ballot box, because if you can persuade enough people that our democracy is in grave, grave danger because of these Republicans, then you can get them out. But we've got to pull every person in the country who has not gone stark raving mad. We got to get them to the polls. And yes, and then, even then, the Republicans will not acknowledge that they've lost. We already know that. They don't acknowledge if they lose. They only acknowledge democracy if they win. Wow. I think these guys have said something that we need to all take in and own. The greatest threat to democracy is democracy itself. And specifically, that part of democracy that allows people the freedom to say whatever they want and to promulgate whatever they want. It doesn't have to be true. Nowhere is it written that free speech is only given to truth tellers. Unfortunately, free speech is given to those who intend to use it to undermine the democracy. Oh, Abby. Someone told me Abby popped in, and I can't stand this. All right. This is just sickening. You know what it's like? You invite somebody on your show and then you put them through some nonsense like that. Pissed. You know, we had a meeting, the paper guys and me, and it was said at the meeting that, boy, we've had a really good run for a while. None of this technical crap that used to happen with such regularity. And I remember thinking at the time, uh-oh. You know how the superstitious thing about don't say it. Here, don't say it. Because the minute you say that, it happened. I remember when I was training my dog, and I said to somebody, even when he was untrained, he was just wonderful. He would only poop under my piano. So you always knew where it was going to be. And I remember saying to somebody once, it's just amazing. I mean, things are going so well. He hasn't pooped under the piano in like 2 months. So I guess we're home free. Well, of course, you know what happened. That very night, he pooped under the piano. Shit. Okay, well, so I'll be spending the time after I say goodbye to you, apologizing profusely to my guest. And since we don't have a friggin' clue what is wrong, I guess I don't know what to say. Damn it. Okay, well, here's the good news. Good news is the chipmunk survived about 36 hours in my house with a dog, with me moving furniture and poking things under, trying to get find the poor guy. And man, he's my hero. Or she's my hero. Truly. Can't even begin to imagine that guy was going to get out alive. Yes! So that's the good news. And the sun's out and the sky's blue. And son of a bitch. Okay. I got to go because I have to apologize to people. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.